be in a covenant with God means that you're keeping the terms of that covenant. That's all it means. The day,
Oh, you're a law keeper. You're a law keeper.
yeah, yeah, come on, man. I mean, let's try a little
Okay,
harder.
I'm just asking questions. I'm trying to figure out what the whole argument is between.
All right, I have to kick him off.
Bro, it's like you sent the list out to every troll to come on TikTok for you, bro. It's
No,
crazy.
that's fine. No, I want trolls, but I want intelligent trolls. Trust me.
I
You know,
hear
there was
that.
a guy named. There was this. You grew up with Spanish television, right? So there was this guy named
Yeah.
Sammy.
hmm
Yo producto Sammy, remember? They're like, if you look good, I look better. You know,
Yo,
I
it's
want
just
people to sound smart because
yeah,
I like dialoguing with smart people. If they look good, if they sound good, I sound better, right? If
no, no
they
doubt.
sound not so bright, it makes you feel like a bully. It makes you sound like a
Yeah,
bully. So I try not to dialogue with people who are just not whatever.
for
Whatever. I
sure.
mean, you aren't that bright.
Yeah, yo, I wanted to pick your brain really quick. I wanted to hear what you
Yeah.
thought about this. So I was looking at a TikTok live earlier, and there was this reform guy on there. Grew up from yeshiva, spent most of his life in yeshiva. Eventually became reform, super left leaning, and all that good stuff. And he's talking to this guy that wanted to convert. Grew up in yeshiva, and then eventually walked off. Right, so he's trying. The guy wants to convert. This guy wants to convert to Judaism. And he said, "But shellfish, that'll be a problem for me, right?" So the guy who grew up in yeshiva, who's now reformed, he's about to get reformed. He's about to become a reform rabbi. Told him, well, in Reform Judaism, kosher laws aren't binding anymore, right? So, you kind of do what you feel. What do you think about that?
Well, it's a famous thing. It was called the Shrimp Affair.
Yeah, the treif banquet.
Yeah, yeah. The first graduating class of Hebrew Union College, which is like the main like yeshiva slash think tank for the Reform movement, in order to really shock and awe the Jewish community, they had shrimp and they had all different types of shellfish at their graduation ceremony. And supposedly, this is what I heard, that this gave birth to the conservative movement. So the conservative movement was the first modern Orthodox movement. It was like JTS, which is like Jewish Theological Seminary, which is like the main yeshiva for conservative Judaism, was Orthodox to some extent. It was like the founders of it were the founders of, or the founders of Young Israel used to learn there. So it's interesting. It's hard for people who belong to other religions to understand, because they think Reform is another denomination. Reform is not another denomination. Reform is another religion. There aren't Christians walking around in a different denomination saying that Bible verses no longer apply, or you don't have to believe in God to be part of this denomination. I mean, unless it's a very new agey denomination. But in Judaism, first movement to ever do this, to consider itself part of an ancient group with, like having ties to the God of Israel, but saying that you don't have to believe in God to join it. It was really an attempt to deorganize religion and to bring Jews into atheism, essentially. And that's pretty much it. This doesn't exist in any other religion. A Muslim who doesn't believe in the principles of Islam is no longer a Muslim. But suddenly we tolerate Jews as Reform when they say it's optional to believe in God. It's optional. Or it's every week what they have is the Semitic Heritage Festival. It has nothing to do with being in a covenant, this and that. Yeah. Now conservative Jews is different. The truth is, the average Jew who goes to a conservative synagogue is Reform. And the only real conservative Jew is the rabbi.
Yeah. Well, what got me really thinking, because obviously I'm Messianic, right? So I'm a Messianic Jew. So I think about these things. And like the Reformed Jew, one of the things, he didn't want people to go up there talking about Jesus, all this, that, the third. But yet, because of some of the beliefs that are associated with the New Testament based on Christians, yet in his own system, he's letting go of mitzvot, right? He's letting go of commandments, which is really interesting, right? Because they would say, oh, Jesus came, he abrogated the Torah, the law, right? This is why we don't receive him. But yet here's this shift to say, hey, I don't want a part of any food that's kosher. It's now no longer binding. They have their own abrogation in the system, right? The Reform system.
Yeah, well, Reform.
Like I live more Orthodox than he does.
Yeah, so Reform are very anti-Christian. The more liberal, it's interesting. The more liberal the congregation, the more traditional they are in their prayers. Like they want like traditional like hymns, and they're very anti-Christian. I think it's better to be an evangelical Christian than to be a Reform Jew. Evangelical, not even Messianic, okay? Because if you're going to gauge what's better and what's